Last time on Mrs Maclean Makes, you saw me showing you how to make a natural indigo dye bath. Today I'm going to show you how to make shibori. So this is a folding technique of fabrics that we can then put into the indigo dye bath and create really nice prints. Shibori technique is really easy. All it is folding the fabric in certain ways that allow the dye to reach to certain places. So some places end up being white and some places end up being dyed. This is a technique particularly used with indigo dye, which is what we made last time on Mrs Maclean Makes. So all you need to do is get your piece of fabric, lay it out flat on a table, one side and fold it to about here, so about 4 inches in. Fold along this edge which has been folded, and then you're going to concertina the rest of the folds. So over this way, and again fold the fabric back on itself and back on itself again until you get a folded concertina effect. So start from one side and fold the end corner to the other side of the fabric so you get this triangle shape here, and then you're going to concertina across the whole length of the fabric using this triangle shape. Start with one side, then you're going to fold it back on itself, so turn the fabric over and fold it over. See again the triangle here. Turn the fabric over again and fold the triangle down. Triangle again. Turn the fabric over, fold it over. Okay. When you get to the end, if you're left with a piece like this, just simply fold it into the fabric, that's fine, it's just excess. Take an elastic band and twist it a couple of times and put one loop round each corner. So from that side to that side. Trying to keep the folds as neat as possible. Get another elastic band and do the same thing. Twist it a couple of times, again put it from one corner to the next corner, and then lastly to the next side. So you have looking like that. So I've shown you the technique which gives you a triangular effect. I'm now going to show you a technique which gives you a square effect. So lay your fabric flat and you're going to take the side closest to you, fold it over a couple of inches or any size you like, depends how big you want your design. Then concertina by folding your fabrics in a concertina effect all the way along. So you're folding it back onto itself as you go. Start from one end, fold the fabric over to give you a square shape. See your square shape here. And then you're going to do the same folding technique again. So fold it back on itself, giving you a concertina effect all the way along. When you have your square folded, you're going to take some hard pieces of cardboard or hardboard. I'm using a couple of old coasters that I don't use anymore. You're going to place one on top and one at the bottom. And then you're simply going to wrap elastic bands around the edges. So I'm going to put 2 on each side. The areas that are held down with the elastic band, so these there'll be lines here, and the hard board here will stop some of the dye coming inside, which is how you get that square pattern. After stirring your dye and leaving it to react for another half an hour, have a look, and if it started to bubble and it has a bluey, sort of shiny, metallic-y look to it, then you know your dye is ready. If it hasn't got that, then just leave it for another hour, another half an hour or so, until you start to get that reaction. When it's looking like this, that's just about done, and you're ready to use it as a dye. Once you've wet your fabric, put them in the dye bath and leave them for about 10 to 15 minutes for the dye to soak into the fabric. When you take your fabric out of the dye bath, it may look green. That's absolutely fine, totally normal. As the oxygen gets to the dye, once it's out in the open air, it starts to turn that lovely indigo blue colour. Once you've taken your fabrics out of the dye bath, leave it at least overnight or for a good few hours to dry properly before you start undoing the elastic bands.